railroad taxes, tobacco taxes, etc., you will not see individual income tax because there is no lawful liability for it. It's not listed.
Well, I mean, I have to tell people that there's a lot of fake remedies that are put out there by patriot people that aren't a silver bullet to get you out of the income tax. I'm not saying that the income tax is legitimate. It's not. It's a complete fraud. It's a hoax. It's on record in the book, The Law That Never Was. They went to all 44 states that were in existence in 1913 when they got the 17th Amendment and the income tax. And the majority of the states that they said ratified it, their own annals show they didn't ratify it. So it was a hoax. Most states weren't in session, but every 2 years. And it just got announced and falsely ratified. The 2/3 of the states did not do it. Not even a third did it. And we built our whole country without it. We've now had it 97 years, and look what it's done to us. But it wasn't even popular or used widely until the mid-50s. It was when they passed the income tax, it was such a small tax that it was only on people making over $1 million a year, and very few were doing that. And so the elites themselves were the ones that pushed it, and they had loopholes where they didn't have to pay it. And yes, it all goes to interest on the debt, interest to the Federal Reserve, to Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, and others. The big six banks, of course, are J.P. Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and what's the other one? It'll pop in my head in a minute. But, I mean, those are the Federal Reserve shareholding banks. And so it's a very important point you've raised, and it's a complete fraud. And now we're about to have a new banker tax, the carbon tax, that is to be paid directly to the international organization and combine. So I appreciate your call, and I do need to make a film on that subject. I appreciate it. Okay, let's go ahead now and talk to Brian in Pennsylvania. You're on the air.
Yo, Alex, how's it going?
Good, sir.
Hey, you're asking for profound statements today. I just want to, try to add on to that and then add a little story about the Ixtec spill after that, if there's time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to give a shout-out to that guy in his tomato garden right now, because that is, that's what you're supposed to be doing in life. Find peace outside. Find peace with yourself. That's all that we're here for. But anyway, I figuratively woke up, as you would call it, a few months ago. I used to, find pleasure in watching our military triumph, different places of the world. I used to think that, we're spreading justice, we're doing this, we're doing that.
And that was you winning the victory. You were having the triumph.
It's almost as if, it becomes an extension of your soul. It's sickening. It's like you're out there and you're defeating these defenseless people that are like, they have no concerns with us. We're there to change their perception on culture.
Kids fighting tanks with rocks are dirtbag roaches who are cowards, and the people in tanks running them over are heroes.
That's exactly right. It's very perverted, and I hope that, nobody can tell you to see this. And for me, discredit me if it must be, but, I had a psychedelic experience, and after that, it was the equivalent of having a bucket of cold water dumped on me while I was in bed. And I get really
on record, the CIA in the 1940s and 50s with LSD, the owners of Time Life Books were big LSD heads, very wealthy. The East Coast elite, Skull and Bones, was taking it. This has all been released. And they decided this is something that's good to give the general public to bring them into our new order. But then they decided in the studies that this is backfiring on us, and so ban this substance. But the CIA admittedly delivered in the early 60s and on pure LSD to campuses all over the country. They told professors that were CIA, give this to your students. And they then put out the ingredients, the recipe for LSD. And then by 1970, and there's been reports on this, you can pull them up, the government said, what have you done? This is actually backfiring. Get them off this stuff. And hallucinogens are very dangerous. I'm not telling people to go out and take them, but somebody who's under heavy mind control, and they did have some studies in the 60s, people who'd been abused, sometimes it helped them, get out of those paradigms of fear that they were in. I mean, it can really remake you. The problem is most hallucinogens out there now are just toxic waste that they call hallucinogens, because the basic precursor drugs or chemicals you need to make them are so controlled that they have to mix a lot of other ingredients in to be able to get the molecular structure. And then there's a lot of excess heavy metals and Grignard reagents and toxins and chemicals in there. You know, it's the same thing with many drugs. These street drugs are very dirty, so no one should take hallucinogens. But from my research and what I've seen and studied, is that an altered state can, with someone who's been conditioned, break their conditioning. It could just as easily put you deeper into the conditioning, or make you have a psychotic break and eat your fingers or jump off a cliff. Now, most people that take LSD today are taking a weak version of it, and they're not taking a lot of it, and so it's more like speed. But if you take real LSD, I've read from the research studies that have been done, that yes, it can certainly open up. I mean, that's what the Bible talks about, pharmakia. The sorcerers, you know, they would take drugs that would, you know, open them up. And the Bible says that's dangerous and bad, so I go with that. Yes, certainly can do that. I appreciate your call. Very, very dangerous, though. Real high-powered hallucinogens, where you see pink elephants and things, you know, or Puff the Magic Dragon, are extremely dangerous. Let's go ahead and take another phone call here. Let's talk to, who's up first here? Annie in Indiana. You're on the air, Annie.
Yes, Alex. I've called several times before. I'm a Texan in exile in Indiana.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's amazing that some of us are like you, are going through reviewing our life now that we're getting close to the end times, the purpose of life. In the 60s, I was a radical. I did civil rights work, NAACP, demonstrated against the war. My heroes were Bob Dylan and Joan Baez. In 74, I became a Christian, and I started becoming a serious Bible student. I asked the Lord if He would let me live to see the end times. I would consider it the greatest gift, and I'd like to tell people, be careful what you pray for, because you may get it.
Well, I mean, it certainly things are getting wild. I mean, they're trying to gear up for World War III. They're purposely letting the oil spill come in via the hurricanes, blocking relief efforts. They are poisoning the food and water. And it's just a fact. You know, it shocks people. Stay there. Finish up with what you had to say, Annie, when we come back.
So you think the massive Gulf oil leak won't affect the air you breathe? Think again. Benzene, a toxic gas emitted from crude oil and a known carcinogen, is now airborne, traveling hundreds, even thousands of miles inland. Whether you live near the Gulf or not, benzene and other volatile organic compounds could cause adverse reactions to those living inside your home. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, came to airfiltersandpurifiers.com for answers on how to clean the air on boats aiding in the Gulf cleanup. Do what NOAA did. Contact airfiltersandpurifiers.com and ask about the HealthMate Plus. The HealthMate Plus is capable of trapping 99.97% of all polluting particulates. Buy the HealthMate Plus today with no tax, free shipping, a 5-year warranty, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to airfiltersandpurifiers.com. GCN listeners get a 5% discount by using promo code GCN. Call 800-499-2418 or go to airfiltersandpurifiers.com, your trusted advisor for clean air.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill, and I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, poor vision, and I really wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess, pretty much.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract, and from within a few days, I started sleeping a lot better. My blood pressure normalized, my blood sugar normalized, and my sleep really did improve.
Experience these benefits and more when your body gets what it needs with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvement.